Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. You know me, I am the Mark of the Masses, the man with the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some Monday Night Raw 8/18/14 today. This is the SummerSlam Fallout Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by my good longtime friend. I know him as Lewis, but you know him as Billy Ray Valentine. You can follow him on Twitter at Billy Ray Hustle. He is the lead member of the Pro Wrestling Hustle podcast. You can find him on Podbeam as well as iTunes. Billy Ray, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, buddy, man? We're going to talk Monday Night Raw tonight. I'm excited.
Dude, I got to tell you something. SummerSlam #1, I thought was a pretty decent show, but this Monday Night Raw was one of the better Raws, and I got to be honest with you, for me, little by little, I'm seeing PG going out the window. What's your opinion on that, buddy?
Yeah, I agree 100% with the whole PG going out the window thing. And also with SummerSlam. SummerSlam was a great show. I enjoyed it very much. And the follow-up to SummerSlam, this Monday Night Raw, was just as good. They're trying to turn it into a WrestleMania thing on more than one level. Like WrestleMania, you know, the Raw after WrestleMania is like a big spectacular. This is what they're trying to do with SummerSlam. And I think they're succeeding. It was awesome.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. A couple of months ago, maybe about 2 months ago, I stated that SummerSlam was the #2 show behind WrestleMania, and I got a whole bunch of flack by a lot of the listeners and a lot of the watchers stating that it was the Royal Rumble, so on and so forth. But little by little, you're seeing that SummerSlam has slowly become the #2 show for WWE. Your opinion?
Yeah, they're trying to do an access show behind it, just like WrestleMania. I mean, they're trying to build it as the flagship, like the midway point almost. For the WWE year. So, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That's what they're trying to do with it.
Yeah, and from what I know, they are coming to New York, New Jersey, and I'm assuming it's going to be in MetLife Stadium. I can still call it Giant Stadium. And, ladies and gentlemen, I will, no matter what, be getting tickets to that, and I'll try to bring Billy Ray Hustle with me if you want to come with me, buddy.
I'm there, man. What the hell?
All right, so let's get into Monday Night Raw. Now, basically, the show started off with Danny O'Brien's music being played, and the crowd went bananas. Well, unfortunately, what happened, Stephanie McMahon actually comes down the ring. She's doing the whole yes. Actually, she's going Steph, coming down the aisle. She's got her T-shirt on. She's got a Steph T-shirt, which was really cool. Really quickly, watching that match during SummerSlam, I didn't get to do a recap. Personal issues and also technical issues. Man, Stephanie McMahon looked fantastic. What do you think, Bo?
Yeah, in the match that she had at SummerSlam, she looked great. It was actually a decent match. I thought it was going to be an awful match, a throwaway match. It was actually really good. She did really well in it. And, you know, Steph has been doing some of the best work she's ever done in her career in the past couple of weeks. She's great promo-wise. She come out with the Steph shirt. The shirt is hilarious. It was a good deal.
Now, and the best part is I only paid $9.99 to see the pay-per-view this month, and I don't know if you can see the blinking lights in the background, but I have the WWE Network going on back here, the Raw post show. Anyway, so basically, long story short, Nikki Bella comes out to the ring. And she basically hugs Stephanie McMahon. Now, she kind of looks a little uneasy about the whole situation. But then Brie Bella comes to the ring. And Brie Bella confronts her, telling her that, oh, you're my sister. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. You're destroying the family, so on and so forth. And you know what she gets for that? She gets a smack right across her little, beautiful mouth. So where do you think this is going, bro?
Man, to be honest with you, I have no freaking idea, bro. I didn't want to see a Bella versus Bella feud. Wasn't interested. Apparently, we're going to get it. But what's more interesting about this whole deal is that they keep throwing Daniel Bryan in there some way, somehow. Like you said, in the beginning of the show, they played the music. She has the Steph shirt, reminiscent of the yes shirt. Like, they keep taking stabs at Daniel Bryan. So they're going to weave that in there at some point. That might be interesting.
All right. Well, now we lead into the next match. Well, not the next match, but the first match of the night, which is the Wyatt family, the Wyatt brothers versus the Big Show and Mark Henry, the world's largest tag team. Now, can you give me your opinion on this match, my friend?
I thought it was a good match. I'm a really big fan of the Wyatts. So anytime they're in the ring, I dig it. But I also really like the combination of Mark Henry and the Big Show. They're not doing anything well. Later on, we find out somebody else is doing something. But, I mean, at the time, I didn't think they were doing anything. You pair them up, make them a tag team. They could be a dominant force in the WWE. I dug it.
Yeah, we're going to hear from Mark Henry later on in the evening. Now, basically, Mark Henry and Big Show, they're an extremely formidable tag team. The likes of maybe perhaps, now I'm not comparing them to The Undertaker and Kane, but I mean just size-wise, they're more reminiscent of maybe Earthquake and Typhoon. I don't know if you remember those guys, the natural disasters back in the WWF days. But this match, hey, the Wyatts, they actually go down. We have the Big Show hitting the KO punch, and then Rowan gets the world's strongest slam for the 1-2-3. So right now, little by little, the tag team division is starting to build up. And some, I know this is a WWE Raw review, but I don't know if you heard the news. Bully Ray from Total Nonstop Action Wrestling actually has left the company. Now, Devon has not been contracted with them for well over a year. So what is your opinion regarding the possibility of seeing not Team 3D, but the Dudley Boys back in the WWE?
Personally, I mean, I would love to see the Dudleys back in the WWE. They're great. I'd just like to see Bully Ray. I hate that name. So I welcome Bubba Ray to come back and have a singles run in the WWE, because I think he did great work over at TNA, promo-wise and in-ring wise. I'd like to see him transfer that over, maybe a feud against John Cena. I'd like to see it.
Well, that, something, let me tell you something. And we went to the TNA live show. Bully Ray and Devon are probably in the best shape of their life. Bully Ray is definitely in the best shape of his life. Or let's just call him Bubba Ray, because that's probably what he's going to be called when he comes to WWE. Bubba Ray, probably in the best shape of his life. I think these guys can go, and they can hold the titles for a little while. So it's interesting. I see the tag team division in the WWE starting to finally rebuild, and with some pretty big tag teams. Like I said, back in the day, they had the Powers of Pain, Demolition, what is it, the Natural Disasters. I mean, so many big, strong tag teams back then. I'm excited to see where the tag team division goes. Now we go backstage. Oh, are you gonna say something?
Not only with the Dudleys coming back, they're gonna have dream matches with the Usos. That would be awesome. But also, we got to keep in mind that the Young Bucks might be signing an NXT contract, and that would be great to see the Young Bucks versus the Dudleys versus the Usos versus the Dust Brothers. I'm with it, and the Wyatts.
Yeah, I mean, I totally forgot about the Dust Brothers, and again, we'll talk about them a little later on in the evening. But again, the WWE Tag Team Division is starting to kind of build up some steam. Now we're gonna go into
it's about time.
It is about time. Tag team wrestling is some of the best. It's probably one of my favorite things growing up watching. But we go backstage and we have Dolph Ziggler. Now Dolph Ziggler was basically being interviewed backstage, and it was kind of weird. He was interrupted by The Miz, and The Miz basically states that he's an A-lister. Dolph Ziggler says, "You're not an A-lister, you're an A-hole." And out of nowhere, Ric Flair comes in and gives the woo. Interesting segment. A lot of people were tweeting. They had no idea what the hell that was about. I guess later on I'm going to give my opinion on what I think, and then you can give your opinion. But backstage, we go backstage again, and we have Seth Rollins backstage, and he calls himself the future of the WWE. As his back is turned, Seth Rollins gives him the Ice Bucket Challenge, and he says, "Dude, it's for charity." What do you think of this little segment here? They break into a fight.
That was awesome, man. And she's like, "Hey, it's for charity," and then he throws the bucket in his face. Hey, I just want to remind you that Bill Schuyler has actually challenged us to take the plunge with a giant bucket of ice. He has the omnipotent goal to challenge me to do something like this. Are you gonna do it?
I'm definitely gonna do it. I'm gonna be doing it very, very soon. It's kind of difficult for me to go into my apartment. I live in an apartment here in New York City. It's not like I can just kind of dump a bucket of water outside. Anyway, but definitely I will be donating. Again, ladies and gentlemen, look, people are saying, "Oh, it's so stupid, the ice bucket challenge, whatever it's called." You know what? It's to bring awareness to ALS, the Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a debilitating disease. I actually had a very good friend whose mom passed away some years ago with that disease, so it actually did impact me personally. I grew up with that young lady, and as part of the church that I grew up in. So long story short, guys, it's bringing awareness to this disease that for some reason has fallen through the wayside. So yes, Lewis, a.k.a. Billy Ray Valentine, I will be taking the Ice Bucket. What do they call it? The Ice Bucket Challenge?
I guess.
Yeah, sure. Why not? All
Throw
right.
cold water on yourself. Hey, man, Dean Ambrose. Back to the fact of the matter. Dean Ambrose is just great. He's like a classic character, man. He has so much charisma, and he can go in the ring, and he shows it every week. The fans really dig him. He had the match of the night at SummerSlam. Some would say, I guess you can argue it, but he had a great match at SummerSlam, and tonight he did it again. You know, we may not see him for a while because he's going to go film a movie, but...
Well, let's hold off on that. Let's hold off on that. We'll talk about that a little later on. But now we're going to jump into Paige in a non-title match versus Natty. I'm going to run through this really quickly because, truth of the matter, the match didn't really go long. We had Paige and Natty in the ring, and all of a sudden the AJ Lee, I was about to say AJ Styles, AJ Lee's music. I wish AJ Styles' music hit. AJ Lee's music hits. She comes skipping down the ramp, which basically, well, Paige gets distracted, and a quick roll-up pin for Natty Neidhart. She goes over, winning the match. So now after the match, and I quote, AJ Lee takes the microphone and she says, I just wanted to say that despite everything, I respect you, Paige. I love you, Paige. I dedicate my life to you, Paige. And Paige kind of backed off like, what the hell is going on with this chick? Your opinion?
This is a funny angle, man. They kind of a little bit, I mean, they're going with the crazy angle, but back to the straying away from the PG. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that, hot lesbian action that they used to do back in the day.
Yes, HLA, baby, HLA. So now, of course, the WWE Universe has their choice. Again, I'm not really sure if the WWE Universe's votes really count in this whole thing. Again, that's a show for like Bill Schuyler said, it's a story for another day. But apparently, the WWE Universe had a choice for Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose in the main event tonight. No holds barred, falls count anywhere, and a no disqualification match. We'll get into what happens later on. But now we have Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. They come to the ring and they present to us the brand new WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, before we get into Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, give me your opinion on the actual title belt.
It's nice. I guess it's a decent looking belt. I personally miss old school world titles the way they used to look, quite like that TNA title that you have behind you, or the classic big gold belt. That's the way a world title is supposed to look. You know what I mean? This is a different take, but it's not bad looking. It's all right. I'm not a big fan of the two side plates that they have that they always interchange. I know people dig it. I don't. But, it's all right. It's better looking than the last one, even though it's very similar. Still looks a little better. It is what it is. I
mean, my opinion, I think underneath that big WWE, and again, they introduced officially, I guess you would say, the new WWE logo. If you noticed, all the titles that were presented today actually had the new logo. They were all new shiny belts. Now, I want you to get in depth in this. Paul Heyman comes to the ring with Brock Lesnar, A-Track Brown. That's your partner. He does a very good Paul Heyman. I really can't do it. Again, check them out. PW Hustle podcast, awesome. So why don't you get into the promo, which I think was an epic promo shot by Paul Heyman.
Well, all I have to say about that is eat, sleep, suplex, repeat. And I could say it 16 times, but I'm not going to. Listen, Paul Heyman does it every week. How does he manage to top himself every week? I don't know. But every week he comes out and cuts an epic promo every single week. He's just the greatest of all time. Hands down, there's no argument in it. You know what about this promo? He actually put John Cena over
a little bit.
And I
he
think,
did.
Yeah. And I think that needed to happen because of the ass whooping that John Cena took the night before. And kudos to John Cena. I know a lot of people don't like John Cena. I'm not a big John Cena fan. But you need to respect what he did last night. You need to respect what he did last night because ultimately, the top guy taking a beating the way he did, there was virtually no offense. Brock Lesnar just walked all over him. And to take that beating just for the sake of the company, for the sake of the storyline, it says a lot about the dude.
Well, I mean, let me tell you something. I can't do all the mathematics. He said the one behind the one behind the one behind the 21 and one and the one over the other one and whatever. But he basically stated how The Undertaker died, John Cena died, and I think John Cena, this is my opinion again, we'd like to know your opinions. Please leave your comments here below at onewrestling.com or YouTube /OneWrestling Video. Hit us on Twitter at Big Ray Show. Of course, my friend at Billy Ray Hustle after One Wrestling and One Wrestling. I think I said that already. But anyway, so John Cena had to do it. I think if he didn't do it, if he would have went over, then it kind of would have crapped on the Undertaker's streak.
Definitely.
But
it's more than just going over, Ray. Like, he needed to get destroyed. They needed to solidify Brock Lesnar as a monster in order to get whoever's going to go over at WrestleMania over Lesnar, if that's the plan, or whenever they're going to put somebody over Lesnar. Lesnar has to look invincible, and that's the way he looked at SummerSlam. And John Cena had a lot to do with it.
Eat, sleep, suplex, repeat. Did it about 16 times, man. I mean, eat, sleep, conquer. John Cena was basically how he closed out. And last week he did that whole freestyle rap, which basically I thought was, again, an awesome promo. By the way, myself and Bill Schuyler, we have One Wrestling Goes Old School, where we actually talk a little bit about the Paul Heyman DVD. Again, probably one of the best DVDs WWE has ever, and I mean that, ever come out with. Again, check our opinions out. We're going to post it on a little later on during the week. But depending on when you're watching this video, again, this video is shot 8/18/2014 on Monday, directly after Monday Night Raw. Now, man, I mean, Brock Lesnar really did look like a beast. And again, we're talking about tonight, but it's all about what happened during SummerSlam. John Cena is now gone. I don't think we're going to see John Cena back for a while. Apparently, John Cena will be filming a movie also, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Or is currently filming a movie, actually. That's why he was off a couple of Raws before. So I think he's wrapping up on that before he comes back and destroys Rusev.
You know, I really like what Paul Heyman said regarding how Cena basically lasted 10 long years at the top of the totem pole. He actually referred to The Rock. He actually referred to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think he may have even, no, he didn't refer to Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan was up there for about that same time. So he built up John Cena. He built him up to be this huge megastar to basically solidify the fact that Brock Lesnar just stepped in some poop and just cleaned it off the sidewalk, dude. I mean, it was perfectly done. Again, your opinion?
That's exactly what he did last night, man. We witnessed the death of John Cena, man. I mean, I don't know when we'll see John Cena in the title picture again after this. You know, I mean, at least that's not the plan. Maybe he goes over at WrestleMania. I don't know. But ultimately, the ass whooping that he took last night was an epic one. And if you haven't watched it, you should go watch it. It was a great match. It accomplished what it needed to do.
Right.
Brock Lesnar went over big. He went over dominantly. And there was no question that that's it. It was over. It's the Brock Lesnar era from here on in until somebody has the guts to or the know-how to take him down. And it's not going to be Seth Rollins. Good luck trying to cash that in, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins is going to be another case where somebody cashes in the Money in the Bank title, the Money in the Bank, and they just don't win the title. So, again, that's my opinion. And the truth of the matter is, from what I understand, Brock Lesnar will be holding on to that title. I mean, I'm breaking kayfabe here. Brock Lesnar will be holding on to that title. There's a lot of reports stating that Vince McMahon would like to bring The Rock in to face Brock Lesnar, but apparently Triple H wants to go with Roman Reigns. I mean, who would you go with?
I wouldn't go with either. I don't think I really want to see The Rock and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I'll take it at the Rumble. I'll see it at the Rumble if Lesnar goes over. And then ultimately what I want to see at WrestleMania, I don't think Roman Reigns is ready.
Nope.
I mean, I know they're trying to push him down people's throats, but I don't think he's ready. Very limited moveset, very limited vocal ability. He's not very good as a promo, and even his in-ring mannerisms, he has a lot of work to do. Yeah, that's that nonsense.
Yeah.
But I would like to see Daniel Bryan come back.
Yes.
Win the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
Steph.
No,
You
no,
got it
no.
wrong.
Daniel
Okay.
Bryan. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I know. Hey, so I want to see him win the Rumble, go on against Lesnar at WrestleMania, and David versus Goliath. I mean, they can make a lot of money with that. It's a no-brainer. If Bryan is healthy, they should go ahead and do that.
And I agree with you 1,000%. Daniel Bryant, man. I mean, that is the ultimate David and freaking Goliath, dude. And Daniel Bryant, man, he's no slouch in that ring. I could see Daniel Bryant systematically breaking down Brock Lesnar. But they always say a good, talented big man can always beat a small, talented, a smaller talented wrestler, I guess, or any athlete. So it'll be interesting to see how they book that match. I could see Daniel Bryan also taking one hell of a beating, but again,
Mm-hmm.
again, I agree with you. I think Roman Reigns is absolutely not ready, but we're gonna get into that because Roman Reigns has a match later on this evening, and I wasn't too impressed with him in this SummerSlam either. So we're gonna move on to Dolph Ziggler defending the Intercontinental Championship versus The Miz, and this was kind of a lame match again, in my opinion. Basically, Ziggler came into the match selling the knee injury that he sustained during SummerSlam. You know what? Long story short, he ends up getting tossed outside the ring. He's not able to make it back in the ring. He gets counted out, so The Miz goes over Dolph Ziggler, which would probably set up another match down the line. But yeah, Ziggler is still the Intercontinental Champion. And one thing I noticed when Ziggler was coming down the aisle, he kept yelling to the fans, "You did this, you did this, you did this," giving props to the fans. And the fact is that, the fans are always behind Dolph Ziggler. I mean, what's your opinion, dude?
Well, I'm glad that they gave something to Dolph Ziggler, and yeah, the fans did do that, and he's acknowledging them. I think he's very proud of being the Intercontinental Champion. He's very happy about it, and the WWE can do something with this and make him a legitimate champion. But as you saw this tonight, it doesn't really matter. The curse of the IC title continues. Once you win it, all you do is lose. So he lost tonight on Raw. He'll probably lose to Heath Slater next week and lose to whoever else down the line while he's holding this belt. It's just ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Long are the days of the Honky Tonk Man and Macho Man Randy Savage. Dig it? Yeah, I mean.
And it's very easily done. It's very easily recovered. Dolph Ziggler could be that dude. He could be the Honky Tonk Man. He could be one of those guys that holds the title for an extended period of time and goes on and does something, but they won't go that far with him because of the IC belt. I don't know, or the U.S. title. What is that? Nothing.
The U.S. title, the U.S. title is about to be abolished, I believe. But anyway, so all right. So basically, after the match, when they announced that Dolph Ziggler was still the champion, The Miz lost it, trying to attack Dolph Ziggler, but Dolph Ziggler able to hit the zigzag, and I mean, it was after the match, so there was all it did was just make Dolph Ziggler look good. The Miz, I guess, technically looked good because he won the match, so it did what it had to do. It gave us another Dolph Ziggler Miz match. So get like a Miz match. Anyway, so we're gonna jump into Jack Swagger now. Prior to Jack Swagger versus Cesaro, Jack Swagger cut probably the best promo of his entire career, and I am definitely saying that tongue in cheek. It was whatever. So anyway, during this match between Jack Swagger and Cesaro, did you want to get into this match, my friend?
They finally put Cesaro over. What they've been doing to Cesaro, I just don't get. But the whole story here was that Jack Swagger came in protecting his ribs or something because of the beatdown that Rusev gave him last night. He passed out. He didn't tap out. That was a good deal. I get it or whatever. But, still Cesaro can't go over somebody clean. I mean, you can consider this clean, but it's not really because he was selling that injury the entire time. Cesaro lost to Rob Van Dam at the pre-show of SummerSlam.
That was like...
I didn't get that, even though the match was really good. But I didn't understand why Cesaro would lose to RVD, who's practically doing nothing in the WWE right now. It's just, I don't know what Cesaro did. I don't know who he pissed off, but it's just not working out for him, man.
I'm going to get into RVD a little later on, too, because RVD is actually, he's been getting a couple of wins, but we'll jump into that in a little bit. Now, after the match, basically, Cesaro does go over. He hits the neutralizer for the 1-2-3. Now, Jack Swagger did attempt to put that ankle lock, but he kept putting it on while he was in the ropes, so on and so forth, kept getting broken up. So, and again, he was selling the ribs the whole match, and again, Zeb Coulter was not by his side tonight. He was kicked in the face and probably taken out for a couple of weeks by Rusev Bachka. So after the match, after this kind of corny match,
nice.
we had. Now I'm a believer. I don't know about
so
you.
am I.
I'm definitely a believer. And Bo Dallas comes down the ramp, and he explains how 318 million Americans were let down by Jack Swagger. And he starts saying how he keeps losing matches, and then he says he lost his manager, he lost his self-respect, and above all, he lost his dignity. But do you remember what Bo said? How can he get that all back?
All he has to do, Ray, is believe. That's it. But you know what? It was telling. It was telling because a story came out not too long ago. You look like an idiot.
I know. Well, that's the point.
the story came out not too long ago that Vince McMahon has lost interest in Bo Dallas.
What?
And doesn't want to push him. You know, he came out there and he had the whole place yelling, "Bo, leave!" It was amazing. He cut an excellent promo. The guy is gold, and this gimmick is awesome.
He's good in the ring. He's real good in the ring.
He's awesome. I love Bo Dallas.
I mean, he's got a little punch, but who doesn't? You know what I'm saying?
Who cares? Like, he's entertaining. I'm entertained by him.
You know, the one thing I do believe, and I did tweet this today, is I believe any push that they were giving to Jack Swagger is over. So, again, that's my opinion.
I mean, Jack Swagger's push was hinged on the American flag and hinged on his rivalry with Rusev. After that, there's nowhere really for him to go, and the crowd is going to abandon him really soon. He should turn heel again and start doing nasty heel stuff. Now,
for the fans out there that watch us here at OneWrestling.com, if anyone knows what Rusev Bachka, and I forget what else he says, could you please interpret that for me? Because I tried looking it up and I couldn't find what exactly he says. Anyway, so now backstage we had another Renee Young interview. And that young lady's getting around, and not in the bad way in the WWE. She's all over the place. She's become actually I like her as a reporter. I was going to ask you about Renee Young real quick. What do you think of her backstage?
She's beautiful. She's good on the mic. There's nothing to really complain about.
No, not at all.
She's pretty good.
She's Canadian.
We won't hold that against her. Or Andrea Corbeil, for that matter.
All right, so basically we had her interviewing Y2J Chris Jericho, and she basically, she asked him how he felt after losing at SummerSlam, and Chris Jericho basically really put Bray over, stating that whole crazy backwards crab walk that he does is one of the creepiest things he's ever said, and he stated that that Bray Wyatt is dead because he kept saying he was dead. He's already dead, and he's dead inside, and so on and so forth. But no matter what he does, Chris Jericho is going to basically take him to the limits, whatever. They're probably going to have one more match. I'm assuming, because they continue to work on this whole rivalry. But Chris Jericho did the right thing by putting him over in SummerSlam, and decent promo. What do you think, buddy?
I thought it was really good, actually. You know what? The promo wasn't ridiculously good, but it was reminiscent of what The Rock used to do back in the day, just because he waited on the crowd to yell Y2J, Y2J, and then he waited on them to do the whole ever, again, and they all did it. That was very cool. There's going to be a rubber match with Wyatt and Jericho, and, Wyatt's going to go over, and then Jericho's going to go play with Fozzy for another, 3-4 months or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, the match at SummerSlam was good. It was better than the match they had at Battleground, so maybe the third match goes up yet another level.
I agree.
It'd be good to see.
I agree. So now we jump into 3 hours is a long time to try to ram into about a 40-minute video. So now we have Randy Orton and Ryback versus Sheamus, RVD, and Roman Reigns. And something that I text you, dude, the fans were going absolutely ape nuts for Ryback.
The big guy. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. You know what? Ryback isn't the most talented guy on the roster, but they could have done something with
this guy. He's got a lot
guy.
of charisma, that dude.
Yeah, definitely. They could have done something with him. They could have turned him into a monster, almost like what Brodus Clay should have been. They should have turned. They should have turned. I was about to say Ryback. You know, they should have turned. They should have turned Ryback into that. You know what I mean? He should have been that beast, and it looked like it was going that way for a while, and then he just fell out of favor, and he was jobbing, and now he's in this awful tag team. But the crowd was super into him. It was awesome. They're like, feed me more. It was great. I dug it, and I hope somebody takes notice and maybe does something with him. I know that's far-fetched, but
no, it's not, and this is why. Nope, I'll tell you why. I want you guys to go to WWE.com, and I want you guys to look up the calendar for towards the end of the year. You know what I noticed?
Tell me.
I noticed that Ryback is featured as a singles competitor in a lot of these shows.
Really? Did they say against who?
It just says that, you know how it says that these are the wrestlers that are going to be there? He's a headliner. They have him headlining a lot of the shows.
Awesome.
Is it possible that Ryback gets another push?
It may be because, you know, Brock Lesnar's not going to be around. I don't know how long John Cena's going to be gone for. They're going to need somebody to fill some type of role. Maybe they'll use Ryback for that.
I think it would be like Ryback says, stupid. I think it would be stupid if they don't use the guy. I think he has a lot of charisma, I mean, again, he's not the best wrestler in the world, but neither was the Ultimate Warrior. He got over, so.
Or Goldberg, for that matter.
Goldberg. Well, Goldberg was a little more technically sound, but he laid some potatoes on. Anyway, so, yeah, took out Bret Hart. So, now, during this match, basically, like I said, they were going nuts. Basically, now, we're talking about RVD. You know, it was a really chaotic finish. We had people all over the place, you know, hitting finishers, and then we had our RKOs, and we had your boy who was Samoan drop freaking crazy during this match.
He just wants to let you know that he's from Samoa. I mean, did you get that across? Is that etched in your mind? He is a Samoan, okay, because he can do a Samoan drop. I mean, he relies on that thing so much. You know, he relies on that and the Superman punch. Samoan drop, Superman punch. Eat, sleep, Samoan drop, Superman punch. That's the deal.
No, I'm serious, man. But funny, RVD actually hitting the frog splash on Curtis Axel for the 1-2-3. So RVD goes over again, getting another pin in a relatively high-profile match during Raw, man. What do you think's going on with that, dude?
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because I thought that was really interesting that Roman Reigns didn't get the pin. You know, I thought that was really interesting. They gave it to RVD, who has been on a winning streak of late.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, but I mean, ultimately, I don't think that'll lead anywhere. Who knows now that they have a couple of gaps? You know, Jericho's going to be leaving soon too, so maybe they'll lean heavily more on RVD. But the more telling thing here is that Roman Reigns didn't get the pin. Normally, he would be featured as that guy. Yeah. I don't know if they have some type of reservation because of what went down at SummerSlam. Possibly the worst match of the night. Okay, Randy Orton kind of salvaged it. I think the crowd connected. This is SummerSlam I'm talking about, not tonight. Right. At SummerSlam, the crowd connected more with Randy Orton than they did with Roman Reigns. It was crazy. You know, like everybody went nuts for the RKO. Everybody went nuts when he was about to lose his mind and do that whole stomping on the ground thing, you know, turning into the Viper, whatever they call it. You know, he looked like he had a better connection than Roman Reigns did. You know, I'm very sad. I mean, I was never there with Roman Reigns, and I want to get there, but he's making it very hard for me to actually get to that level of having any type of confidence that he can do anything as a main eventer for the WWE.
Well, now, speaking of Randy Orton and the fans being behind him, he was approached backstage by Ric Flair, and he did say, you know what, get out of my way, or else, you know, you'll find out why they used to call me the Legend Killer. Dude, Ric Flair approached, you know, he's with Dolph Ziggler, and he approached Randy Orton back there, and Ric Flair is starting to be a little more of a prominent figure Monday nights. I'm wondering, is it possible that maybe Ric Flair is thinking of taking the old role of one of the greatest managers of all time, J.J. Dillon, maybe bringing back the Four Horsemen?
That would be awesome if they did. Ziggler and Orton are good additions. Who would round that out? Who do you think would round that out? On the roster right now, who do you think they can bring in to fit an enforcer role, to fit the Four Horsemen role?
Well, as an enforcer,
yeah,
Ryback.
Ah, okay.
Right
That's
back,
not bad.
and then you would need a fourth member. And the fourth member, why don't you guys? You know what? Let's not, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't you leave your comments below? Why don't you tell us who you think would make a great four horsemen in the WWE if they're going that route? I mean, I'm just kind of bringing it up there because I just find it funny how Ric Flair is kind of just like, it looks like he's kind of scouting. I don't know. It was weird because when he had that interaction with Randy Orton backstage, he kind of looked at Randy Orton with like a little bit of a grin, like, oh, I like that. I like that fire inside of you. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see where that goes. But then we had a Bray Wyatt promo. You want to get into that quick little promo?
It was, a typical Bray Wyatt promo. He's pissed that Y2J calls himself the savior, and that's pretty much the gel in this entire feud. People are into it. Everybody has their cell phones in the air when everything gets dark. Wyatt is over. What else should we say about it,
Yeah, we don't have anything else to say. Now we jump into a tag team match between the tag team champions who were not on the SummerSlam pay-per-view. I have no idea why, but the Usos in a non-title match versus, I guess we call them the Dust Brothers. I don't know, Goldust and Stardust. And this match, I'm just gonna give my opinion on this match. You tell me whether you agree with me or not. It was kind of like for four really athletic guys that can really go in the ring. I felt like it was slow, methodical, a lot of headlocks, and for some reason these guys were sliding all over the ring. Did you notice that? I made a note of that. They were sliding everywhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, apparently Stardust, he had some damage to his rib or whatever, but he was able to get the pinfall, and Goldust and Stardust go over the Usos, and the commentators actually really put them over as a threat to the tag team titles. What do you think, buddy?
I'm split on this tag team. I love Goldust. What Goldust is doing in this current incarnation, the WWE, this role with the WWE, this run, I meant to say, what he's doing is better than he's ever done in his career. He's just really, really good in-ring and outside the ring. Now, Cody Rhodes is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and this was amusing for a little while, the whole Stardust thing, but it's getting kind of tired for me. I think what they need to do with this guy is, possibly put him in the new Four Horsemen. Fans, leave your comments below. But, that's what I would do with him. I would do something other than Stardust than some stupid gimmick like this that's going to get him nowhere. This is a potential main event guy, Cody Rhodes. He can go in the ring. He has charisma. Everything he's ever done in the WWE has been good. Any crappy gimmick they give him, he turns it into something. He should be rewarded for that and not left in this Stardust limbo. Okay, now he has potential to have some good matches with the Usos because, the Usos are freaking amazing. So those matches would be great to see, but ultimately I would just like them to move away from this.
All right. I mean, I agree. I mean, Cody Rhodes put over using dental floss.
Yeah.
Handsome Cody Rhodes, or whatever the hell they call him back then. So I agree with you, man. I agree with you. But all right, we're gonna quickly run down the next portion of the show, and I gotta tell you something. Mark Henry. People who don't know, he was a United States Olympian, obviously the world's strongest man. He also won a gold medal at the Pan Am Games. So he's a legit All-American. If a tech guy, a Texas man. He lived in New York. He was in Harlem for a little while. I mean, he's a real American, I guess you could call him. And he confronted Alexander Rusev. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened there?
He came out and he confronted Rusev. He actually laid him out. He left him on the floor. But ultimately, we know how this is going. I received a text from Vladimir Putin earlier today. He wasn't very happy about this whole deal. We know what's going to happen here, man. Rusev is going to squash this guy. Okay, that's what's going to freaking happen.
I don't think he's going to squash him.
Rusev is going to make him a humble. No. He's going to put him in the camel clutch.
In the camel clutch.
Whatever you want to call it. And he's going to make him tap out. Rusev is not losing. He is not losing until John Cena gets his hands on him. That's when he will lose.
He is not losing until the WWE decides to sign Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle takes him out.
I agree with you if that happens, okay? Because they're saying that they're, on two sides of the coin as to whether or not they should sign Kurt Angle.
Let me
I
tell you.
say they do.
Let me tell you something. If you can, and now I can't see Rusev running roughshod all the way through WrestleMania. But could you imagine if Rusev does keep a winning streak all the way to March or April, wherever the hell WrestleMania is, and all of a sudden Rusev is like, I have destroyed All American, or whatever her name is, Lana, the gorgeous, sexy Lana, and she's like, we have destroyed All American. We will
Mm.
now drink vodka and and like celebrate. And then you hear dun, 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 dun. Could you imagine that freaking pop, dude? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, it
again,
would
it's
be amazing. It would be amazing. Can
yes,
he pass a WWE physical is the question. Okay,
that
and
is the question.
if he can do that, then you bring him in. It's a no-brainer. You bring him in and you have him beat Rusev, and I'm all for it. But until then, it's Cena food. It's what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
or the wellness policy, but that's a story for another day. So anyway, I think Mark Henry really cut a really nice promo on Rusev, and Mark Henry is extremely believable as the world's strongest man because he was the world's strongest man, or maybe he still is, who knows? But yeah, man, he really put a verbal lashing and then basically hitting Rusev. Now Rusev tried to kick Mark Henry. Mark Henry blocked, and you could see Rusev was selling the hurt ankle that he did hurt
Mm-hmm.
against Jack Swagger, which gave Mark Henry the ability to put him in the world's strongest slam, and then he politely asked Lana to move her pretty little body over, and then he hit him with a big splash with almost 400 pounds of body weight down there. So really cool. Mark Henry was Mark Henry's. I don't know a time when Mark Henry was not over really. I mean, he's always pretty popular, and he did mention something today. He did tell Rusev that he was going to make him a member of the Hall of Pain, which was, in my opinion, his best run in the WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that he's not going to get run over. It's not exactly what I meant to say. I meant to say he's going to lose. He's going to lose. But it'll be some interesting matches, almost reminiscent of the ones he had with Big E. I think they're going to be some hard-hitting matches, some power matches that people are going to enjoy. But ultimately, he's just not part of the big picture. Mark Henry is just not part of the big picture in the WWE anymore. They're going to continue pushing Rusev.
Yeah, he
That's
doesn't
what
have
keep
to.
doing.
He doesn't have to be. Mark Henry's paid his dues. He's done his time. He's made his money. He's put his money
Mm,
away. He's a good guy, man. I've met him. Met him a couple of times already, and nice guy. He loves his barbecue. But anyway, so
nice.
he really does. So now we're
Hmm.
gonna jump into the main event of the evening. The WWE Universe actually voted on a Falls Count Anywhere match. It is Dean Ambrose. It is Seth Rollins. I gotta tell you something, man. I had tweeted that this match I had a feeling was gonna be a barn burner, and it was a slobber knocker, barn burner, whatever the hell you want to call it. It was a fight. These guys were all over each other during the match. I mean, really good spots. There was a point where and can you tell me what your opinion is on Ambrose? Because I tweeted that he's a star. Like the way he acts in the ring, his mannerisms, so on and so forth.
But Dean Ambrose is, I like to say, a mix of Brian Pillman and Roddy Piper, the loose cannon and Roddy Piper himself, man. Dean Ambrose is great. I think he was the standout member of the Shield, in my opinion. I never really liked Roman Reigns, like I stated before, and I think Dean Ambrose is the total package. He has charisma and he can wrestle.
He's
Seth
Lex.
Rollins, go ahead.
He's Lex Luger.
No,
Oh,
he's not Lex Luger.
oh.
He's much better. The guy is serious, man. The guy is serious, and the people love him. Okay, he's coming across. He's connecting with the crowd. Every time he comes out, he gets a huge pop. He's always doing something crazy.
He's good.
Like I mentioned before, the match he had at SummerSlam was amazing. That spot where he jumped off and landed on everyone, on all of the lumberjacks, including Seth Rollins. Everybody went nuts for that. And back to that, these were the worst lumberjacks ever in the history of the WWE. I mean, they just let the guys go running around the entire arena. I thought the purpose of lumberjacks was to keep the action inside the ring, and they completely failed.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
they kept getting a suicide dived on and stuff, doved on, or whatever the hell you call it. I mean, these guys, I I actually personally liked the way they were used.
oh yeah, it was great.
During the match. It was fun. It was probably one of the best lumberjack matches I've ever seen.
I didn't have high expectations for it when I went in because lumberjack matches suck. But prove me wrong. I enjoyed it very much.
Well, during this match, yes, they worked their way all the way up to the stage, a big suplex on the steel out there, and they worked their way right back down to the ring. At one point, Dean Ambrose throwing a stack of chairs in the ring. He's going to try to superplex Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins reverses it and hits a power bomb onto those chairs. I actually tweeted, where the hell did PG go? Because the fact of the matter is, man, that was a violent match. Now, speaking of violent, during the end of the match, out of nowhere, Kane comes in. Kane actually interferes. Kane hitting a chokeslam on the table, doesn't break. Then Rollins hits the curb stomp. The table doesn't break, so Kane got one. Kane picks up a table, removes the table. Like, what the hell? Bunch of cinder blocks. And why don't you tell us what happened from that point on?
Man, this was an ECW style match, man. Like you said before, I wanted to mention that, like, you know, where's the PG guy? I mean, all the chairs in the ring, who did that in ECW? You know what I mean? You remember back in the day when all the chairs went in, Terry Funk was in the ring, he was falling down.
Terry
Funk.
Know,
I mean, that's the type of match it was. And then, you know, Seth Rollins hitting the curb stomp on the table, you know, being assisted by Kane. You know, it was an excellent match. I dug it very much. Every time these two guys get together, it's very cool. Like, if anybody knows the history between these two, they've been feuding back from NXT. You know, in NXT, they used to wrestle each other all the time. So they have a lot of chemistry with each other. They know what they're going to do. And, you know, eventually, hopefully, we'll see this as a world title match. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose.
I got to tell you something. If nobody's ever seen, you know, Dean Ambrose, he comes from that old crazy indie promotion, CZW. And those guys are freaking nuts over there. I mean, those guys really go hardcore. So that's where he gets his anyway. So Dean Ambrose's head is kind of held in place over the bricks, or the what was it called, the what do you call that, the bricks that
the cinder block one?
Cinder blocks, those things. God, it's a late night. And I didn't think Seth Rollins was going to put his head through the freaking cinder blocks, but he did.
Yeah, man.
He did. And
it was a brutal match.
It came to a point that the referee actually had to stop the match and call the EMT. And, well, that's how it goes off the air. Now, we do know, for you guys in the inn, that Dean Ambrose is also filming a movie. So he may be gone for a little while. Man, this was definitely one hell of a Raw today. I really enjoyed Monday Night Raw tonight. Your opinion, my friend?
It was good Raw. It was a good weekend, if you want to include Monday, of professional wrestling for the WWE. I think they did a good job at SummerSlam trying to attract people to the network, which is ultimately their goal. It was a good show, and Monday Night Raw translated, and that was a good show too. And, you know, we win, the fans, because we were entertained.
Well, just like Hulk Hogan opened the SummerSlam by saying, "Hey, brother, only $9.99, dude." You can't beat that. Let's just be real, dude. I'm not trying to put it over, but it is what it is, man. I get to see a whole bunch of cool stuff for just, you know, $10 a month, you know. But anyway,
you know,
what's up?
No, it's true. It's true. Like, I have the network. I don't really watch it, but I watch every pay-per-view, and that's enough for me. It's $10 for a pay-per-view that costs about $50-$60.
70 if you want to watch an HD.
Yeah, this thing pays for itself. You can also watch NXT, Kenta, Devitt, Steen. Come on. I mean, that's it. That's enough for me. I don't need anything else, but people are different. They want other stuff. So, hey, whatever.
Well,
to each his own.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been our Monday Night Raw recap, review, and basically results show. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow us here at OneWrestling.com, YouTube /OneWrestling Video. Follow us on Twitter at OneWrestling. Follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show. Follow Billy Ray Valentine at Billy Ray Hustle. Don't forget our cohorts. You got the show, Bill Schuyler, Andre Corbeil with his teenage reports at Andre_Corbeil, and of course, the legend, the Godfather, Bill Apter. Follow him at Apter One Wrestling. Billy Ray, you want to say goodbye to the fans, my friend?
Hey, you know, it's always a pleasure to sit here with you and talk about pro wrestling. The mark of the masses, the man with the plan. It's Big Ray. You know, so that's always fun. I also want to give a shout out to my boys, A-Track Brown and the Professor. They join me and we do the PW Hustle. It's fun. We enjoy talking about wrestling. You know what I mean? So anytime I get a chance to do this, I'm going to take it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Talk about wrestling.
Take the ball and run with it. And you know what, Lewis? I say this every single week. I would do this for a living, but if I can't, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling, my friend. We will see you here next week for Monday Night Raw, and we'll see what happens. Will Seth Rollins come back? I don't think so. Will we see John Cena next week? We didn't see him this week. I don't think so. It's getting interesting, my friends. We'll see you soon.
It really is.
Peace.